So the next thing I wanted to talk about is this article that's a little older. It's from earlier. It's from later last year. And I'm not actually going to pull up the article because the article is New York Times and it's paywalled. But I have a quote here, so this will probably be a little bit short. I'll read the quote and then I'll go on sort of a rant. This is really connected with like the cultural shift we're seeing, where like people, white people, rich people who aren't white but want to be white, they're all deciding that the bigotry of the past, like this classist structure of like having people who are like have more rights than other people, it's like cool and it's like chill, and that's what they want. You know, they want that back. They want slaves. They might not get black people as slaves again. You know, they definitely want it because black people would revolt and fucking not let that happen. But they do want slaves. They want to push it back as far as they can, you know. I think ChatGPT is like a big extension of people wanting slaves. But this article like really just like gets down to the like the id of like a conservative Gen Zer, because they're just fucking stupid. They're just the stupidest fucking people in America. They're the destruction of the like education system in combination like with like anti-intellectualism in general has created just the dumbest fucking people in the world. Dumber than your boomer grandpa. Dumber than your uncle that only listens to Tool and Slipknot. Fucking dumber than like your little sister who like watches like fucking Bluey. Like just the dumbest motherfuckers. And I have a little quote from this article that sort of elucidates on that. So this is partially from the writer, but there are a few quotes in here. This sets most visible, and the article is called "I Saw What New Young Post-MAGA Trump Supporters Look Like." This sets most visible political stance as a reaction to what it sees as the left's puritanical obsessions with policing language and talking about identity. A joke about Puerto Ricans or eugenics or sleeping with Nick Fuentes could throw a pack of smokers outside Butterworth's into a giggle fest. Recounting her time at one of the balls, a woman tells me she jumped the velvet rope into a VIP section like a little Mexican. Then she lets out a cackle. This is the posture that has attracted newcomers to the cause. 6 months into Biden being president, I was like, I can't fucking do this anymore, says 19-year-old New Yorker who once quite literally had blue hair and attends Marymount, Manhattan, which he describes as 75% women and 23% T-words. He had supported Biden, but I hate watching the things I say. I took a much further horseshoe around this time. Later, a former Bernie supporter, who looked like the most Bernie supporting person one could imagine with long curls, told me the same. He wanted the freedom to say the F slur and the R slur. So, they want to be racist. They want to be bigots. They want to have people that are socially below them on like a strata, like a different class of people who have less rights. They want that. It's like part of like their ideology now. This 19-year-old, they would have been a 15-year-old when Biden was president. Well, I guess, no, they would have been a 19-year-old. They would have been a 15-year-old when Biden first became president. So like 6 months into Biden being president, they were 15 years and 6 months old. That is a teenager. That is a baby. And it's like these people who are just getting out of high school, are like, they're getting out of high school, they don't fucking know anything, and they're just filled with hate, and they want to like have like a lower class below them to where they don't really have to work hard to keep like themselves in an upper class, you know? It's pretty fucking disturbing, honestly. But yeah, and there's the racism in there too, you know, like a little Mexicans jump over the border, you know. That's a little racist trope, even though most Mexicans in this country live here legally. You know, they're not immigrants, they're American citizens, because when we first got Texas, it was a Mexican state, and we annexed it and didn't kick out any of the people. They just stayed there. They fucking grew up. What, like, fucking it's either 40 or 70% of Texas is Mexican, and these people didn't jump over the border to get here, you know. And the people who do cross the border, they don't jump over shit. My grandfather was a seasonal worker, and he would cross the Rio Grande on foot, not jump over anything. You know, it's a racist trope created by racists to dehumanize the people who are crossing the border. You know, such a small minority of them actually go through the fucking border fence, you know. Yeah, just incredibly stupid people. Just incredibly stupid.